This is my thoughts on the Southland Tales Blu-Ray commentary. The Blu-ray just came out a little while ago. Amazing that it's been released, because I did not think Southland Tales did well either. Theatrically, it bombed, and DVD I didn't think it did well either, but I guess the fans promoted it enough to get this, and Die Darker's coming out in February, nice to know. And this is not going to be a normal review, obviously, because Southland Tales is a long movie, let's face it. I haven't got a chance to watch it until now, because of its length. Anyway, I thought there was some interesting changes between the cans and DVD cuts. I'll get into more of that later. I did not know that Pilot Abilene was a former movie star. There's one thing in the background. There's just a lot of stuff in this movie to take in, It's really neat to even learn more about than you didn't know, because I already bought the graphic novel. One note on that, by the way. The graphic novel gallery on Blu-ray that actually does contain the prequel saga, it's terrible. You can't see anything. It's easier just to buy the graphic novel saga. It's really not that much. It's worth it, if you want to understand the movie, if you like it that much. Also, there was some interesting info behind the movie's production, which I thought there could have been more of, given the troubled production it's had, but oh well, that's still fine. It explains the whole blood on Boxer Towers' shirt near the end. I was kind of unsure of this myself. I actually did not know where it came from. I mean, I guess the meaning, but outside of that, it was nice to have some clarification. I did think that the commentary was actually really good for people that have not read the graphic novel, because it actually did some nice recap for it. And although he did do a bit of narrating of the movie itself, he did kind of try and allude to things that happen in the graphic novel to help you understand it better, and I think it's a good alternative. That, and again, the Blu-ray does come with the prequel saga gallery, if you can actually read it. It revealed more meaning in what I thought were comedic events, like Dion and Dream were actually high on fluid karma and their mental capacities are draining. I thought they were just stupid. I thought they were comedic relief in the movie, because the movie does often shift towards that. As well as it explains that the Baron, if you actually do think about it, this is very confusing. It did explain that the Baron did not know he was causing the apocalypse at the end of the movie. Apparently there was more in the cans cut about this, or about the family in general. The midgets on the Upu squad were meant to crawl into small spaces. They weren't just pointless. That was kind of silly. Confirms Eli Roth is in the film. That's really not a big thing. One of my favorite people on planet Earth is Philip K. Dick. That's Richard Kelly's words regarding Philip K. Dick. He actually has a few references to Philip K. Dick I actually didn't even realize, not being a huge Philip K. Dick fan. For instance, when Bart Bookman, played by Lovett, says, "Flow my tears," that's actually a reference to the first line of one of the chapters, or in the Philip K. Dick book as well. Taverner is the main character in another Philip K. Dick novel, so like I said, a lot there. Confirms the switching of character roles via the use of fluid karma triggered by adrenaline. It breaks the edge of reality when they switch. Reveals that the rest of the Baron's family and staff know that this could well cause serious problems, and they help Box because they realize they need to end it all, which is what I assumed. Gives some development on Walter Mung, who is a Christopher Lambert. And he's a pointless character, really, but he has place in the movie, but he was very background. And like I said, it was kind of nice. He's going to give you a quick pass of him. It was very neat. Simon Theory was Kevin Smith. I know probably everyone else knew this. I did not realize this. That is some good makeup. I also think that at the Takahashi's hand when it was cut off, I totally did not notice. This was incredibly hilarious that if you look during the scene where Boxing Towers is on the blimp in the bed later on, his hand is actually already bronzed and mounted, which I frankly laughed right out loud to. It's a small thing, most people aren't even going to notice, but I suppose that's what this movie is built for, the people who are going to dissect this film. As well, he also revealed a lot of significance in the scenery that neo-Marxist hideout, like all the things that were surrounded aside from the Donnie Darko stuff. There were some moments of silence in the commentary. I will say so, it wasn't that great in that respect, but also revealed the origins of the Mega Zeppelin's creation. It was kind of a neat bit of production info. I am a big fan of the Mega Zeppelin. Frankly, I just love how it's called the Mega Zeppelin. There's a fascinating bit about the continuous, quote-unquote, shot through the Mega Zeppelin at the start. It was actually not a continuous shot. I had presumed that this thing was actually just from the top, or gone all the way, but apparently this was shot in many different locations over weeks times. It was incredibly fascinating. I wonder how they did that shot. I thought it was done like the movie Old Boy, where it just kept going and you had to get the take right kind of thing. And lastly, I did not know that was the Lakers announcer at the end. Anyway, there's tons more of this, because obviously this thing is 2.5 hours long, but I risk rambling about rambling off about the same time that the commentary runs. I'm going to stop it here. And you know what, if you want to pick up the Blu-ray for Southland Tales, if you have the DVD, it's not essential. If you want to rent it, I'm sure you can get away with that. On the other hand, if you're a fan of Southland Tales, a hardcore fan, you know what, it's worth listening to. It's worth picking up, and it's for a bargain bin price. You can usually get it for $2 for $50 at HMVs. And it was pretty good. I liked it.